Hey, what's up everyone? Derrick Broze here, and I'm doing a walk and talk.
This is Derrick Broze. This is Derrick Broze of the Conscious Resistance. I'm here in Standing Rock.
That man is wanted in 5 different countries: Chile, Argentina, Brazil.
We've been fighting a long time. We have all lost so very much. So many loved ones gone.
Don't you fucking tease that horse!
You are not alone. There are pockets of resistance all around the planet. We are at the brink. Above all, stay alive. You have no idea how important you are. If you're listening to this, you are the resistance.
Okay, so for those who don't know, I live in Morelia, Mexico, and I got this nice trail right by my house that Miriam and I walk sometimes or bike around, right next to this little river bayou. Unfortunately, kind of dirty water. And I was thinking about doing a walk and talk. We'll see how this works out, see how loud the background noise is. But I really don't get this whole thing, this walk and talk phenomenon, honestly. For those of you who follow my work, you know that I like to do investigative reports, video reports, sometimes that are detailed and break down complex topics of relationships between government and corporations and sex traffickers, or talk about holistic anarchism or freedom cells. You know, I talk about all these things, and I put a lot of time and effort into writing those articles and those books and planning those videos, and then of course the documentaries, The Pyramid of Power. We put hundreds of hours into that. Hundreds and hundreds of hours between myself and my editors. We put hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of time into these productions. And you know, I think we get some moderate views on the various channels: BitChute, Rockfin, Odyssey. Shout out everybody there. Of course, on my website, podcast, Facebook, now back on YouTube. You know, we're getting clicks, but other videos where people are just walking around and doing these walk and talks and just ranting, they're not even really saying anything like, you know, hey, I'm going in the park while I break down some really important, well thought out, you know, investigative information or anything. It's just like rambling while they're walking their dog or walking in circles or whatever. But you guys seem to love it. I don't know, maybe I'm just out of touch. But I was reminded by a conversation with Miriam the other day that, you know, when I first started my journalism, my activism, I made a big effort, like most journalists try and learn, to not make myself part of the story, to not make myself the focus. And I did that for the first couple years, and again I felt like, man, why are people not paying attention? But then I started to recognize, like, whenever I talked about the stories of government and corporations and corruption and all this stuff, people were listening. But whenever I opened up about my own struggles or my life and sort of, I guess, humanized it and showed, hey, there is a human being behind the work, people seem to connect to that even more. So, anyways, Miriam reminded me that and was saying, you know, people love to hear your thoughts. Maybe you should go do a walk and talk. Here I am. Said it's 3 minutes and I've said nothing. But it's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day out here. There's people biking, running, walking, all the good things. And you know, I wanted to mention, I had a kind of a rough weekend, man. My grandmother died. I found out my granny died. My granny, on one of my 3 grandmas, she comes from my father's side, my birth father's side. And for those who do follow my work or know my story, my birth father died of a drug overdose 4 years ago, and he was in and out of prison most of my life, and that really shaped me in a lot of ways. And when I went to prison and I decided to change my life, I reconciled with him, and unfortunately he couldn't get over his drug addiction and he died in 2018. it really did break my grandma, my granny. Her son, who was in his, he was only in his 50s, like mid 50s, late 50s, and she had just struggled for her whole life trying to take care of him and you know, help him out in whatever way she could, and just, yeah, you know, money, time, getting him out of jail, whatever, you name it, she did it, and he ended up dying in a hotel of a drug overdose. And so my granny was kind of, I think, broken by all that, and yeah, and so I think she died of a broken heart. But really what happened was my dad died in 2018. My granny was super depressed about that, but then also, you know, she had some surgeries and, like, you know, it caused her to lose some weight. So those two things together weren't helpful. But then also, shortly after that, COVID-19 bullshit, lockdowns, paranoia, fear, all that stuff. And, you know, my granny, she was a healer. She was a healer. It's my grandma's side of my dad's family where I get part of my native blood from. And she was a healer. She understood natural medicine and energy medicine and all kinds of things. Maybe some things are too woo-woo for some of y'all. But I think the combination of the depression from my dad dying, from the freaking surgery and getting sick afterwards, and then lockdowns, and then she got sucked in. She was just locked in home alone, watching fucking COVID fear porn all day, and it really fucked up her head. That's like what I saw. And the last time I actually went to go see her in person, she wouldn't even come out the door. She was like so scared that she didn't even want to come outside and see me. I had to talk to my grandma through the door, the screen door. And that was totally just heartbreaking. And so, yeah, she started shutting everybody out, and we didn't get to see her. But I'm probably gonna do a separate video all about my grandma. I didn't mean to get all into all that, but that's just some shit that's been on my mind. You know, I've been dealing with that, and at the same time, to anybody who cares, for the last 3 weeks I've been working on my debut album, Transmutation, which is, for those who know, I perform music under the name 33. You can find my music at 33 is here on SoundCloud, YouTube, all that fun stuff, Odyssey. And I'm putting out a 10-song album called Transmutation, hopefully by October. And I'll be recording in the next couple of weeks, but it's been fun making that. But also, you know, making this album, for me, it's all about, you know, transmutation. It's about describing this journey I went through. Some of you know my story. I kind of mentioned it a moment ago. Depression, suicide attempts, drug addiction, prison, you name it. Did it, went through it, and then discovered meditation and prayer and spirituality, and started changing my life. And yeah, that's the journey I was on. And so I've been on this healing journey, and part of that has been my activism, my journalism, and the Transmutation album is basically going to tell that story. It's going to tell it through hip-hop. I encourage you to go check out 33. That's my music. I call myself 33. And I've got reasons for that, not because I'm a Freemason. But if you want to check it out, you can find my message. You can see what it's about. You know, it's conscious hip-hop. It's truth hip-hop. It's not political per se, but it's about real-life struggles. So, you know, in this making of this album, I'm trying to take myself back in my mind to this place where I was doing drugs every day, like all day, all night, where I was abusing drugs, where I was abusing my mind, I was doing self-harm, I was treating people like shit, I was lying, I was scheming, I was selling drugs, I was getting surrounded by people who were, you know, some pretty intense criminals, career criminals, when I was just a lost little boy trying to figure my shit out. And I got locked up. And so this album is all about that journey, and it's been interesting because I've been taking myself back to that mindset. And it's been pretty fucked up. Honestly, I had it really fucked up yesterday. Like, I just started getting overcome by these like insecurities and feelings and things that I haven't felt in years, honestly, or really even not to this degree. But it was, yeah, I think it's because I've been working on this music and then combination of my granny dying, and yeah, it was fucking intense. It like took over for a little while. I had to go lay down and kind of just chill and get out of my head and not be awake for a little bit. And then by the end of the day, I felt better. I went and worked out and felt great. And, you know, honestly, if there's anything that I think is missing from the freedom, truth, reality, health movements, is a focus on physical health. You know, there's an increasing awareness of the spiritual health dimension and how important that is. But there's a lot of people, I think, who kind of, in our different communities, look down on being strong or, you know, working out, because maybe you associate that with like meatheads, some kind of idiots that go to the gym and, hey bro, stuff like that. But I think it's important to, you know, walk, run, jog, exercise, lift weights, train, do jujitsu, play sports, you know, walk in the park, whatever it is that you do. But hey, I'm just saying, for me, facing everything we're facing, I want to be in the best shape I can possibly be. And I mean that mentally. I want to take care of my mindset. Physically, you know, I've been going to the gym every day. Not every day, 3 times a week, 4 times a week. And it's feeling good consistently. So I want to be strong mentally, physically, and spiritually, emotionally, however you want to break that down, on all levels. So some people are really into the physical health and they bulk up and they're, you know, they're ripped and everything. But then maybe emotionally, spiritually, they're not doing too well. You know, their mind state. So just think about that. So yeah, that's what I'm aiming for with this album. I'm gonna tell a story about a journey through drugs and addiction and prison and growth and healing. And that's my story, and that's what I'm gonna keep sharing. That's what the Conscious Resistance is about too. It's about that healing journey. And for those who don't get that, man, maybe you don't really get my work that I've been doing for the last 13 years. It's about healing. It's about being honest with yourself and recognizing that the sooner we heal ourselves, the sooner we can heal the world. And once we do that, then a lot of our problems are gonna maybe not disappear overnight, but they're gonna start to become more manageable. And I think that people will start to see that the root of a lot of the problems and the reason that people allow themselves to be enslaved, whether consciously or unconsciously, because of mass formation and things of that sort, is because, not only because we've been propagandized nearly from birth to accept this authoritarianism as normal, but also because a lot of the human population is dealing with intergenerational trauma, you know? And I mean that for us in the Native community, the Black and brown community. For those who have lighter skin, I don't really like the term white, because it's like devaluing that broad category of people from all over the world. But wherever you're from, wherever your people are from, there's trauma, there's colonization, there's murder, there's war. None of us are immune from it. And, you know, there's a lot of healing to do. So, yeah. And that's what my work is about. That's what this whole journey is about, guys. So, you know, it was interesting to kind of have that breakdown where I was like, fuck, I gotta lay down. I feel so depressed all of a sudden. I was just feeling so down on myself, doubting myself, angry at myself, hating myself. It was just, where the fuck is this coming from? It's been years. And I've learned how to process it and deal with it. So, you know, I dealt with it the way that I've learned. And, you know, I talked about it with Miriam later and was able to process it. And it was good. It was growth. And I'm thankful for that. And I'm thankful to keep growing. So I'm looking forward to sharing that album with you guys. I'm thankful to my grandma who taught me, my granny who taught me that there's no shame in letting your emotions out. If you gotta cry for a moment, or you can just release your anger or whatever it is, just let it out and be at peace with it. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't let the world tell you that expressing your emotions is not manly or womanly or whatever, or that it's just silly and you shouldn't do it. Don't be afraid to express yourself. We need to hear your truth. We need to hear your voice. And yeah, that's I think that's about all I got to say today, guys. This is a short first little walk-in talk. What do you think? Should there be more? Will there be more? Maybe. I don't know if these will just focus on things like today or other stuff, but until next time, peace.
Since 2012, the Conscious Resistance Network has been an independent media organization focused on empowering individuals through education, philosophy, health, and community organizing. We work to create a world where corporate and state power do not rule over the lives of free human beings. Our motto is leading by example and helping others in their pursuit of freedom. Visit theconsciousresistance.com to find our articles, documentaries, interviews, podcasts, books, and more. Remember, you are powerful, you are beautiful, and you are free.